Well, welcome back. Brand new episode here at the Youngbouls Podcast. As always, I want to continue to give a huge shout out to you guys for continuing to rock with me as I continue to post, new episodes. It's been a couple of weeks. I told you guys I'm going to get you another episode. Just the past couple of weeks have just been a lot. A lot has been going on, obviously, in my world, but, a lot has been going on in the world as well. So, I thought it would be great just due diligence to make sure that I get you guys at least one more episode before the month ends, because the month literally ends over the weekend. Before we get started with today's episode, I just want to say, first off, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who was affected by the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Unfortunately, it was the second shooting that has taken place in the span of a couple of weeks. This time, Alex Preddy. A couple of weeks ago, it was obviously the 37-year-old Renee Good. It's really something that has continued to just mess with me. It just goes to show just how, put it bluntly, just how bad things have gone in this country, man. Put in perspective, I am a 22-year-old senior at Temple University. Up until I would say maybe middle school was when we first started really hearing about, ICE and things of that nature. But if you were to tell me at middle school that things like this would continue to be taking shape 10 years later, I would be like completely just in complete shock, man. The direction this country has gone since Obama. But it really just goes to show just how bad things are. I said this before, but I'm just going to reiterate it here. You want to be optimistic that things are going to get better. Obviously, as young people, we are the people of tomorrow. Like, we are the people that are going to be filling in these, Senate rooms, House rooms, these jobs, everything like that. We're who people are looking at to take over. But to put it bluntly, I don't have the utmost optimism or positivity that things are going to be okay, because it's just how things have continued to go from bad to worse, man. And between the ICE shootings and literally kids being taken out of classrooms because they're getting detained by ICE, to ICE showing up to major events such as the Super Bowl, such as the World Cup. And you still have companies, let alone corporations, still giving Trump Peace Prize awards. FIFA, I know that was like, no. There's no I know to any of that. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, man. Side note, why in the world are we giving this fascist a peace prize when everything that he has done since he has taken office has been the opposite of inciting peace in this country? I said it before, obviously the election and everything like that happened, the presidential election that happened, a couple years back. I said it before, but I'll say it again. We have had every opportunity to get right with this country, to right the ship, to turn things around, to do certain things, and to make it so that we don't have to repeat certain errors that have already happened. Surely after Trump's first term and what we saw happen from 2016 to 2020, we would just think that maybe, just maybe, we don't want to have to go through that again. And obviously, here in 2026, unless you've been living under a rock or things of that nature, it's gone from bad to worse. Yeah, it's gone from bad to worse. Do I want to believe that things are going to get better? Absolutely. Do I want to believe that we're going to do everything we can to continue protesting and mobilizing and making our voices heard on certain issues? Of course. But none of that means anything if we don't go out and vote. The protesting, the mobilizing, the knocking on doorbells, the ringing on doorbells, the knocking on doors, to hanging up posters, all of that, that means absolutely nothing if we don't go to the polls, man. If we don't go to the polls, because that's where we have to hit them, is in the polls, in the voting places, because that's where it's most important, honestly. The people that we're putting into these positions of power, we're expecting them to uphold certain laws, and have a certain standard that comes with the job that they're being elected to do. And to put it just bluntly, right? To put it bluntly, Trump has done literally the worst job I have ever seen somebody do as president. I want somebody to literally name me 5 things that Trump has done good since he's been in office. And it could be from this term, it could be from the last term, hell, it could even be from both. Name 5 things that Trump has done good since he's been in office. If you can name 5 easily, name 10. If you can name 10 easily, do it with 15. We can keep playing this game because, to put it bluntly, if you're going to sit up here and tell me, oh, well, stimulus checks. Come on, man. What are we talking about? Trump has had more impact on Truth Social than he's actually had and doing anything else for this country. To put it bluntly, another thing too. I'm from Alexandria. I live in Alexandria, Virginia. Over break, when I went home for break, I don't know if it was Thanksgiving or Christmas, one of the two. Me and my mom, we were driving around the city and everything like that. Obviously, I believe let me check. I'm just going to Google real quick. Yeah, so this July 4th will be America's 2nd birthday. Cool. We're driving around, the White House area, the National Mall, all that. There is a literal mural of this dude hanging up. I forgot on what building it was on, but there is literally a side-by-side photo of Theodore Roosevelt, and then there's a photo of Donald Trump with I gotta Google it. Hold on. Yeah. So there's literally a Trump mural, or not a Trump mural, but like a banner on the U.S. Department of Labor building in Washington, D.C. There is one of him. There is one of, I think there was one of Lincoln when I went past. But bottom line is there is a Trump banner on the Department of Labor on a federal building. Now, real quick, I just wanted to point out that is a federal building. No other president, well, at least since I've been alive, has had a banner of themselves on a federal building that I know of. And, many people call it, propaganda and stuff like that. And yeah, they're on the button about that because it's not a normal thing to do. It's probably one of the most egotistical things to do as Commander-in-Chief of the United States is putting yourself on a literal banner blocks away from where you live. Who does that? But I digress. Because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, him having a banner is not important. But between what he's been doing with ICE, what he's been doing when it comes to just simple issues of police brutality and racism in this country, what he's been doing when it comes to, just laws in this country, his viewpoints on certain issues such as, abortion, transgender rights, things of that nature, it's ridiculous, man. It's nuts. And it's honestly jarring and just continues to show just how far we are falling as a country, man. Honestly. Granted, this country is filled with many, many great people, but the sad thing about what's going on with this presidency that really makes me worry about this country going forward is, simply put, the legitimacy and the respect that this country used to have from other countries is getting lost, man. We're kidnapping presidents of other countries. We're going back and forth with countries about a territory. We're doing so many things wrong that so many countries are looking at us like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing? And it's even crazier because there will still be people, lobbyists, just Trump boosters that will sit up here and be like, what Trump is doing is best for this country. It's best for the economy. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. It's going to be awesome. God bless Trump. God bless America. But the truth of the matter is that if Obama was doing half of the stuff that Trump was doing right now, y'all would have been calling for this dude to be out of office like that. How many more times does this guy have to be impeached for people to understand that this dude is a president? Excuse my French, but I'm being serious. I'm being so serious. It's not good. It's not good. It's not. And with the continued shootings of, protesters simply just exercising their right to protest, by the way, it goes to show that even the idea of free speech in this country is about to go to the wash. And as someone who's just seeing all this happening and understanding what's going on too, it's really sad, man. It's really sad and it's disappointing. And you have honestly no other reaction but to be a little bit like on the worry side about what to do. My best advice, man, for people is just to continue to mobilize and protest. Don't let what these two people who were protesting for better for this country go to vain because of what happened. Use what happened as a springboard to continue to protest about, the wrongdoings of ICE and how they need to be, simply put, gone. Protest everything that's been going on with this country. Protest everything that's been going on with this presidency. Mobilize, use your voices, and continue to be heard. The same way I'm trying to mobilize and use my voice here on this podcast, man. Last time I spent a podcast trying to talk politics, I believe it was probably a little bit post-election, but I wanted to make an admission to just use my platform to just talk about something that's other than sports, especially when there's been so much bad going on in this country. But yeah, I feel like it's just my right to do. It's my right to do so, and it's my right to, as somebody with this platform, with this microphone, to use my voice to share with my viewers how I'm feeling about certain issues. Now, look, I know that not everybody agrees with me. I know that not everybody agrees with my rhetoric or what I'm saying or whatever. And if you don't agree with me and you feel so strongly against what I'm saying, then you're part of the problem, to put it bluntly. I don't really have the patience to go back and forth and argue about why my viewpoint is right and yours is wrong, or vice versa. If you think that everything that's been going on in this country and everything that's been going on, in Minneapolis and things of that nature is right, I have nothing for you. Honestly, I don't. If you can tell me that a ICE agent going into a elementary school and detaining young kids, taking them away from their classroom, from their friends, because of what exactly? Teachers saying standout students and everything like that, showing nothing but love to these kids. Kids aren't hurting anybody, by the way. And we're just taking them out and detaining them because of immigration issues? What are we talking about? What are we saying? What are we actually doing? I always thought about, since I would say like 2018, I always thought about Trump's, tagline, his whole mantra, which is make America great again, and what exactly that means. And simply put, make America great again. It's not, simply put, it's not about the thing of making America great again. It's the idea that you want to make America the way that it's supposed to be. I don't think I need to go any further with that explanation, but for those who are still not following, let's make America white again. Make America like it used to be. You're seeing people being detained. You're seeing people being taken out of certain events. You're seeing, what books are being able to be kept in libraries with even lesson plans and stuff are going to be changed under this presidency. What, lessons are being taken out of schools, what departments are being funded and what departments are being taken away. You see everything that Trump is trying to do here. And you see everything that Trump has continued to try to get away with this presidency. If you don't understand what's going on now, then you're already behind, man. But as just humans, as you and me, the best that we can continue to do is continue to, again, like I said, protest, mobilize, and call out Trump on the simple BS that he's continuing to do. And I cannot stress this enough, because maybe, just maybe, back in 2024, you guys did not hear me when I said this, but get to the polls, man. Get to the polls. If we do not get to the polls, simply put, none of this stuff that is happening right now is going to get better, and more bloodshed and more bad is going to continue to happen. And I, for one, wants to see what happens in America when I turn 70 or 80. I, for one, want to be revered as, to other countries, as a solid country again. As a country that, we can, go to bat for and be like, oh, they're cool. It's cool. It's no beef here with us. But instead, because of this president, because of who's in office, because of the people who are continuing to just basically show support to this guy, it's not like that. And as common people like you and me are continuing to pay the ultimate price for that. And it's only going to be a matter of time before other countries just have enough and they want to pick a war. And people are going to lose their lives because of what this guy is doing in office. As we're already seeing with just regular common people who are just simply protesting the wrongdoings and the just simple mistreatment. And yeah, it's just, that's all I have to say about that.
Showtime.
Bro, Chris Paul has better handles than AI.
Go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Brand new episode of the Youngbouls Podcast. First off, I just want to say again, appreciate you guys for allowing me to vent for those first 10 to 12 minutes of the episode. Obviously, there's just a lot on my mind as far as what's been going on in this country, and I felt like I could not continue to go forward with the episode if I didn't just, touch on what was going on. Obviously, again, thank you guys for continuing to show love, tune in. I know, where have you been? Where's I thought you were going to be more consistent. I know life has been going on. I'm still a senior, got stuff to do. It's just life stuff, honestly. It's life stuff. Honestly, if I'm being completely real with you, The real reason why I'm even doing an episode today is because, fortunately for me, snow days still exist. We had no school yesterday, and we basically have no school today, which is great. So it was able for me to get out of my bed and come make an episode for you guys, man. As always, no, just love doing what I do, love doing this. We have a lengthy episode. We already spent a lot of time talking about, whatever. You already spent a lot of time talking about, what's been going on in the world and everything like that. So without further ado, man, we're going to get to the rest of it. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Super Bowl preview, who my prediction is for the Super Bowl. We're going to get into NBA. We're going to get into more about baseball, especially with my man Kyle Tucker coming to those Dodgers. I'll do some questions about college basketball. And for the last part of this episode, man, it's not going to strictly be a sports episode, but we're going to touch on something that I've picked up. Obviously, I love podcasting. Podcasting is my number one. It's my baby. But another thing that I picked up, man, is photography. Shout out to my teacher, actually, the photography course I'm taking. But yeah, I'm going to actually spend a minute talking about photography and just why it's just played a huge part in just finding another lane for me, man. But without further ado, man, let's get to it. Obviously, we had two conference championship games over the weekend. We had the lackluster Broncos-Patriots game, and then we had the shootout, which was the Rams and Seahawks game. We're going to first touch on the Broncos-Patriots game, man. That game was rough to watch, man. That was a tough game to watch. For me, I mean, I'm not going to say the better team won because if Bo Nix was healthy, I feel like that game, one, would be a lot closer. I feel like Denver would have won that game if Bo Nix was healthy. Obviously, Jarrett Stidham coming in definitely threw a wrench in a lot of the play calling and things of that nature for the Broncos. Granted, Sean Payton did say before the game, be ready. It's like I have two starters and things of that nature. The truth of the matter is, it's not the case. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that Stidham did right, but there's also a lot of things where it's like, man, like he's really a backup. And I mean, I guess people thought he was going to have that Nick Foles sort of magic where, the star quarterback goes down, Nick Foles comes in, leads his team to a championship. That was not the case at all. Yeah, 10-7 was the final score. I believe the Broncos scored in the first half. Yeah, they did not score for the rest of the game. Obviously, the one thing about the Broncos that's going to probably stick with them all off season, they had a chance to tie the game up, chose to go for it instead, didn't get it. Patriots pretty much neutralized them for the rest of the game. And Drake May just does what Drake May does with 86 passing yards, mind you. Didn't even reach 100. Threw for 86 passing yards, and they were able to win the game. Again, championship game like no other, because never in a million years would I have thought that you could throw for 86 passing yards and clinch a trip to the Super Bowl. For the Patriots, it's their 12th appearance in the bowl. First time being in the Super Bowl since TB12 was there. And for Mike Vrabel, I believe he's the first Patriots coach in his first season to go to a bowl in his first season. So that's a huge accomplishment for him and the Patriots. And yeah, many teams, not many teams, but many people, including myself, would say that the Patriots definitely are, feasting on the fact of their weak schedule this season. And some would say their weaker playoff run, obviously first round having to play against the Texans and then having to play, no, I mean, my fault. First round playing against the Chargers, then playing against the Texans, and then against the Broncos without Bo Nix. Some would say that they had a cakewalk to get to the Super Bowl, but ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, you have to win those games. If they were on the other side of those games, there wouldn't be a debate about whether or not they deserve to be there or not. And regardless of who they beat in the regular season, the fact that they're still in the bowl, that's a testament to them as a team. But I will say this, though. If they don't win the bowl this year, I will say that this season, I feel, would be their best chance to get there. Because the AFC is only going to get more competitive next year. I mean, obviously, teams are reloading. Teams are going to get better through the draft. I feel like if the Patriots don't win it this year, we're not going to see them back in the bowl for a minute. And then for the Broncos, too, obviously, they had a great season. One season in the AFC. I feel like this season was their golden opportunity. Obviously, the Chiefs were out the picture. You had a weak team in the playoffs. You look at the AFC altogether. After they took care of business against the Bills, that was their best chance at making some noise, man. Obviously, things didn't go right with Bo Nix. He got injured. I feel like they'll be competitive next year. Um, but we'll see. There's a lot of things they could brush up on in the offseason. The run game, for sure. Some more weapons for Bo Nix to throw to. But their defense is their strong point. So really just beefing up that offense will make things so much better for them come next season. And while we're on the subject of the AFC, I understand we're talking about the two championship games. But I will say this, man. Josh Allen. Now, if there was any pressure on any quarterback in the AFC to have a great playoff, it is this man. Josh Allen for the past 4 to 5, maybe 6 seasons has been a frequent playoff just appearance. The Bills have been a frequent appearance in the playoffs. And every year, they have either faced the Chiefs, they have either faced the Ravens, they have either faced a team that has basically stopped them from being able to go to the bowl. Every single season. There's been seasons where they've won 12 games, they couldn't make it. 13, they couldn't make it. And it's what it is. But to that credit, I'm also going to say this. None of those major threats that they had issues with in the past were not in the playoffs this year. You look at this AFC side of the bracket, before any games were played, it was wide open. The Bills literally had 5 quarters to just simply play great football, and they could not play great football. And the thing that was even more telling to me was that even after the loss, people tried to sit up here on media to say that Josh Allen played his heart out and that loss isn't on him, it's on the Bills. No, it is not. The things that I was seeing Josh Allen do in that game was absolutely ridiculous, man. Running the ball and flicking it backwards, turning the ball over, throwing interceptions. It's ridiculous. 64% completion, 83 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 90 QB rating. And one of those interceptions that he threw was in crunch time and overtime, which ultimately lost him the game. And also got his coach fired as well. And then also, too, side note, I don't care how bad or how angry you are about a season ending the way it is, throwing one of your receivers, your receivers under the bus about saying that we weren't going to draft him, or I didn't think of drafting him, is utterly ridiculous. That's just absolutely nuts. You don't do stuff like that. But then I digress because I'm steering away from the pot. I'm steering away here. But what I will say is this, is that every season we always hear the same thing about how Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. He continues to, put his team on his back, continues to do this, continues to do that. Great team, great quarterback. That's great. But when Josh Allen does not show up, Josh Allen is treated basically like a baby who's been crying, which the media decides to swaddle him and just, tuck him in. But if Lamar Jackson, hate to say it, but if Jalen Hurts or if any other quarterback performed the way Josh Allen did, they're getting shredded. I would even put Justin Herbert in that list. They're getting shredded. And yes, Josh Allen can be a great quarterback, but he can also not be a playoff riser. 2 things can be true at once. And in this case, it is. Because let's look at Josh Allen here. He has a sympathy MVP, which we all know that should have went to Lamar. That should have went back to Lamar. He has an MVP. He has multitude of playoff appearances, multitude of AFC East titles, no Super Bowl to show for it. He has had weapons. He has had Stephon Diggs, nothing to show for it. He has been a part of 13-win seasons. He has been a part of 12-win seasons. He has taken Mahomes to literally the depths, and he has not been able to get the job done. The Bills this year were 12-5. Let me just put this in perspective. The Bills this year were 12-5. 13 games in 2024, 11 wins in 2023, 13 in 2022, 11 in 2021, 13 in 2020. The last time the Bills won less than 10 games was in 2018. So the Bills have been, I'm just going to say, a playoff team for a minute. And they have no Super Bowls to show for it. And the truth of the matter is this, man. Yes, they fired Sean McDermott. Yes, McDermott is gone. Yes, it's a part of the problem because he simply couldn't get them over the hump. But the truth of the matter is this. After McDermott is fired, we get a new coach in. They go through the next season. They have their a great season, whatever, and the playoffs come around again, and they don't perform the way they're supposed to. There's going to be a lot of talks about what exactly is Josh Allen doing. Because, yes, by all means, what he does in the regular season, what he does on the regular 1 o'clock game on CBS is amazing. It's great. But if you can't translate that 1 o'clock game on CBS to what you're doing in a playoff game when it matters, then what are we even talking? What are we doing? So that's what I had to say about that. I'm sorry I had to go get sidetracked on that. But again, congrats to New England going back to the bowl, I guess. Dang. But salute to them, though, because they've had a rough couple of years, man. They've had a rough couple of years. One of my friends actually is a Patriots fan. He had a Mac Jones jersey. And he also said that Bailey Zappi was like that at one point. They deserve it. I don't think they have not seen the sun since Brady has been there. So, obviously Drake May has had a great season. He probably is going to be the MVP of the league. But yeah, hopefully they win it, because if they don't, I don't think they're going to be back for a minute. But moving on to the AFC, to the NFC side of things, man, when you haven't done a podcast episode in a week, I mean, not in a week, but in a couple of weeks, you've been able to miss out on so much. But ultimately, some things stay the same. In my last episode, I said I would not be surprised if the 49ers beat the Eagles in the playoffs. And man, oh man, I'm so honest with no Kittle, no Bosa, no Fred Warner. Went to Lincoln Financial Field on a cold, brisk Sunday afternoon and sent them boys home. The Eagles were in the playoffs for 3 hours. They just set up the link. Welcome to the playoffs. Welcome to the playoffs. Wild card. Thank you, fans, for an outstanding season. 3 hours later. And everybody smiled to my face. Because ultimately, man, it truly just solidified everything I was saying all season about this Eagles team. And don't worry, we're going to get to the Seahawks fans. We're going to give you guys your credit, your love, everything like that in a couple. But I just got to get this off my chest. The Eagles, man, all season long, I've said it since the beginning of the season, they were not going back to back. And people looked at me like, oh, you're crazy, you're tripping. You just hating because your team not doing nothing. Two things can be true, but we saw the cracks through the armor. Saquon Barkley is not getting the same amount of love he was getting last year. The play calling is becoming stale. It's 2022 all over again. 2022 all over again. With Brian Johnson. The Eagles are losing to teams they shouldn't be losing to. They're beating teams not by great margins. Every game, it seems like it's close. And where the defense shines, the offense slumbers. You can't do that all throughout the regular season and expect to have success in the playoffs. And sure enough, come playoff time, when your so-called star quarterback, I'm not going to say so-called star, I can't do that. When your star quarterback is throwing into triple coverage on 4th downs, when your star receiver is getting to screaming matches with the head coach, it's a problem. Hurts threw for 168 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks with a 79.2 passer rating. He had a completion percentage of 57%. I'm looking at these stats. That game was on January 11th. The last time a Hurts threw for over 200 yards was December 8th against the Chargers, where he had no touchdowns and 4 picks. Before that, last time he threw for over 200 was the week before. But you look at these numbers, man, and you just look at, the percentages, the QB ratings, all of that all season, it's the same song. Eagles fans will have you on one hand say that it's Patullo's fault, it's Kevin Patullo. He's doing this, the play calling, Hurts can't get active with the play calls by Kevin Patullo. But I'm just going to say this, right? Patullo did not throw Jalen Hurts to throw that shrimp po' boy down the middle. Patullo did not tell Jalen Hurts to throw half the passes he threw. Now, granted, some of those passes, there was literally nowhere else to go with them. But simply put, what I've been saying all season about Hurts is this. Hurts is a great quarterback, but Hurts is also a system quarterback. You put anybody else with that Eagles offense, they're going to shine. Simply put, I've been saying to people all season, stop acting like what Jalen Hurts is doing is so special. It's what literally any quarterback could do with the weapons that they have. If I have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson I'll even add, and I'm throwing the ball to them, why wouldn't I have success with that? And yeah, let's entertain the whole Patullo thing, right? Obviously, with Kevin Patullo, his play calls are whack. It's terrible. There's been times where the Eagles had not scored in the second half. There's been times where they've only had, terrible offensive halves. Yes, but let's not put the blame on Patullo, where the blame should be going on, honestly, the head of the snake, Nick Sirianni, man. Let's be real. The Eagles knew they had an offensive coordinator issue all season. And throughout the season, the Eagles said, you know what, we're going to stick with it. We're going to ride it out. And by riding it out, y'all let the wheels fall off and y'all crashed and burned. Just imagine what would have happened if you guys would have decided to shop for a new OC during the middle of the season to try to salvage what you guys have going on. Or obviously AJ Brown wasn't happy. Why wouldn't y'all try to trade AJ Brown to get more pieces to possibly help out if it was that much of an issue? There are so many things the Eagles could have did to salvage their season. They chose not to. And because they chose not to, they're at home with the Saints. And it feels great. Because, again, all season, it's been, we're going back to back. Go Birds. We're this, we're that. Right, you want to know when I realized that the Eagles season may be done? You want to know when I realized that? I would say that Cowboys game, man. I feel like that Dallas Cowboys game in Arlington was the telltale sign of that season. I feel like that was the game where I was like, you know what, there may be an issue. I think it was either that game, the Cowboys game, and the Bears game, which was right after that, I think. Because the Cowboys game, obviously, that was a huge collapse. But then you look at the Bears game, they were on a little losing skid at that point. First game back was Black Friday, whatever like that. The link was packed out. And the offense had probably one of the worst showings I've seen in front of a home crowd all season. And then, too, I would also like to add, right? The Eagles also had an opportunity to get the second seed in the playoffs this year, right? The Eagles were the third seed. They played, obviously, the Runners. If the Eagles would have won their season finale game against the Commanders, they would have been the second seed in the playoffs. Does it mean much? Maybe not. But instead of playing the Runners, you're playing the Packers, a Packers team with Jordan Love, who's just coming back from injury, a Packers team that you have seen in the playoffs literally the year before. One would say, why would you not take that and just finish out the season strong? They chose not to, and they have to deal with the consequences of that. I mean, it's what it is, right? It's what it is. Luckily, they have an off season to try to figure things out and see whether or not they can continue to compete for championships with Jalen Hurts. Or, I mean, if we're going to be completely honest, it's not even Jalen Hurts. I wonder what they're going to do as far as Sirianni, because Sirianni is what he's done for the Eagles. He got him a chip. He got him a championship, which is ultimately like the ultimate prize. But if you're continuing to hire within your organization like this, and it just went this bad this year, I mean, what do you do? What do you do? So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. But I digress, because you guys are at home. It's time to talk about the Seattle Seahawks, man. Salute to you, man. I'm so happy you guys made it, man. Shout out to my boy Rashid Shaheed, man. Saints legend. If we couldn't be in the playoffs, man, I'm so happy you got to get to a bowl, man. Warms my heart. Warms my heart, man. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Sam Darnold would be playing in the Super Bowl, I would have laughed at you. I would have. But ultimately, the Seahawks have been the best team in the NFC all season. They have literally been a juggernaut. ASN has been amazing. 1,000 yards. You know, you have the great 1-2 punch of Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. And Kenneth Walker was taking care of business when Charbonnet got injured in the game. The defense is daunting as ever. You have unsung heroes like Jake Bobo and other players who are continuing to just put their stamps on the game for Seattle. Again, they have been one of the best teams all season. They have had to go through a little rough patch as far as quarterbacks, as far as, who they have in their organization, coaching changes, things of that nature. And honestly, I don't think that many people expect to make that much of a run at anything this year. And the fact that they're able to do it with Sam Darnold at the helm, especially with his experience and his track record, is even more impressive. Literally just last year, he had probably one of the worst playoff games I've seen from him in his career with the Vikings. And now he is leading a Seahawks team to a Super Bowl. Who would have thought? Then you look at it from the Rams' point of view. Obviously, Devontae Adams, Stafford, they're not getting any younger. It was a good game, but the one thing I want to go back to in that game, I felt was one of the biggest moments in that game, and which I think, in my opinion, wasn't the right call for that moment, was that fourth down. The Rams had the fourth down. They were in the red zone. I believe it was like 4:50 left in the game. They scored a touchdown. Obviously, they take the lead. They kick the field goal. It's a one-possession game. So literally a one-point game. And they had, I believe at this point, they had all three of their timeouts. They go for it. They don't get it. I don't think anything was open on that play. But I don't understand why they didn't just take the points there. I mean, you take the points, it's 30-31. Worst case scenario, right? Go down the field. They're chewing clock, whatever. Let's say they hold it. You have all your 3-year timeouts. You have the 2-minute warning. You trust your defense to go get a stop there. I feel like by them going for it, it just put added pressure on the defense to make a play. And the burning of the timeouts did not help them out at all. I felt like the timeouts were used at the worst times because, simply put, when they got the ball back, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. And then on top of that, I believe they used maybe one or two of their times for the 2-minute warning, which is, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. At least that's what Madden taught me. Again, I'm not a head coach. I'm just the guy with the microphone. So by all means, if there's any coaches doesn't matter what level, who are going to disagree with what I'm saying and tell me I'm wrong, by all means, I welcome it because, again, I'm just doing this podcast. Man. I'm just doing this podcast. But that's what I didn't like about their possession. Outside of that, man, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua had a game. And I know there's one person who's very lucky that game turned out the way it is. It was Tariq Woolen, man. Tariq Woolen probably had the worst back-to-back play I've ever seen. First off, I believe it was like a 3rd and 15. Seahawks get a stop. Dude was taunting the Rams bench, right? Penalty was called. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So automatically everybody's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Now they got the first down. Literally the next play, Puka Nacua was on him. Puka hits him with a jab, gets to the outside, scores a touchdown on him, then starts talking trash to him. And then to make things worse, everybody on the defense who came up to him on the bench and started yelling at him and saying, basically, if we lose this game, that is on you. Luckily, that's not what happened. Luckily, the Seahawks won. Luckily, they're going to the bowl. But, man, that game could have ended so differently. And obviously, that would have been just so bad for Tariq Woolen. But again, congrats to the Seahawks, man. Obviously, Seahawks, Patriots, obviously they're not strangers to the bowl. Both teams played against each other, obviously, with the infamous why did they not hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch on the 1-yard line play. Hopefully, the Seahawks are able to exercise those demons, win the bowl, bring it back to Seattle. For me personally, I want the Seahawks to win. Again, Shaheed, man, I want Shaheed to get a ring. God, that would mean the world to me. We miss you here in New Orleans, man. Oh, if you could have stuck around for Tyler Shock, man, could have stuck around. But yeah, Shaheed, man. Hopefully you get a ring. JSN Super Bowl would be amazing. So yeah, that's my pick. I feel like the game was not going to be close. Actually, for the sake of it being the Super Bowl, I hope it is. I would say 31-20 Seattle. 31-20 Seattle. That's my prediction. Yeah, that's what I got for that. That's what I got for that. Quick shout out though to the Chicago Bears, man, before we move forward. Quick shout out to the Chicago Bears, man. The Bears probably had the most exciting playoff run I have seen. For a brief moment, I thought they were going to go to the bowl. Obviously, that wasn't the case. But Caleb Williams, man, if this was to come for Caleb Williams in a Bears uniform, let alone him just being in the playoffs, I'm sold. I'm not gonna lie to you. Last year I was kind of skeptical, like, oh, I don't know, like he does some good, but I feel like at times he does too much. Caleb Williams literally balled out of his mind in this playoff, man. And if it wasn't for DJ Moore stopping his route, or for simply the defense not showing up in certain situations, or the play calling, the Bears probably would be playing against Seattle over the weekend. But again, it's what it is. They'll be back next year for sure. Yeah, bear down. Bear down. Moving forward, man. Going to the association. Going to the NBA, man. Talking about the NBA. First off, I want to give a shout out to Derrick Rose, man. Derrick Rose got his jersey retired. Obviously, I'm 22. Derrick Rose, obviously his impact on just people my age who watch basketball is immeasurable. Obviously, Derrick Rose is like the biggest what-if story in the NBA, I would say. Many people, I don't think they really understand and just get like how raw Derrick Rose was in his prime, even though it was a short one at that. But Derrick Rose was literally just a solid player, man, a great player. And he literally brought the city up with him. Literally is from Chicago, and the city saw him grow up in front of their eyes, and he made the Bulls proud. So it was great for him to be able to get his jersey retired. Happy for that. And other news of celebrations or careers and stuff like that, John Wall is having his celebration. Hopefully that leads to retirement. I'm hoping that the Wizards retire his jersey in the future. But they're having a celebration for him on Thursday. I'm definitely going to tune into that. If I wasn't in school, I would definitely try to go to that game against Milwaukee. But yeah, the Wizards are, celebrating John Wall, the bobblehead. But I hope it leads to a retired jersey because of just his impact with the Wizards, man. Obviously, before Wall got there, if we're being completely real, with Arenas, I mean, outside of Arenas, the Wizards weren't really on anything. And when Wall got there, he put DC on the map, made people come to every Wizards game, and had gallery plays rocking. I was fortunate enough to go to a couple of John Wall games back in the day. I was fortunate enough to go, I think it was to was it his debut? I don't remember. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I remember. But I definitely remember going to some of the Wizards games with John Wall with the old Wizards uniform. So maybe it was his rookie season, but it was fun for sure. And he's always been an exciting player, and I'm just glad that a player that I've just enjoyed watching so much, one of my favorite players, all the time really, is being celebrated by a team. Simply put, grew up watching. Congrats to John Wall. I know you don't know who I am, but if there was like a way for just literally anybody to tell you how much you mean to just like the city itself, people will be saying the same thing I'm saying. Again, congratulations to John Wall. But yeah, moving on to anything else in the association. Obviously, All-Star starters were revealed. LeBron's not an All-Star starter. That's interesting, and it probably is a sign that things are pretty much coming to a close for the career of LeBron James. I'm saying this as he did not just hoop last night, but that's still my GOAT though. That's still my GOAT though. That's still my GOAT. Yeah, 24 last night. So yeah, forget about what I'm saying. The Lakers, they beat the Bulls last night. The Lakers, I just don't get, man. The Lakers have every chance in the world to win a championship, man. But I feel like with the team that's being constructed, and simply put, outside LeBron, Luka, and maybe Austin Reeves, man, there's nobody there, man. There's nobody there. There's nobody there. They're getting blown out by teams they shouldn't be losing to. I keep getting into back and forth with my mom about how the Lakers are going to get another ring and stuff, and it's like every they tell me why they can't do that. Like, the Lakers are going to beat the Bulls, but then we'll lose by 30 to the Charlotte Hornets, and it's like, what's going on? The Lakers will go and beat the Utah Jazz on a Monday night at 10:30, but then on prime time, we'll sit up there and lose to Milwaukee at home. What are we talking about? So it's just one of those things, man. And then, simply put, their acquisitions, man, have just been so inconsistent. Jake LaRavia, when he's on, he's on, but when he's off, he's off. Same thing with Aiden. Aiden at the beginning of the season was a double-double machine. 17 and 10, 19 and 10, 20 and 10 even. I remember he had a 10 and 20 game just out of nowhere. But then now it's just like 2 and 4, or 4 and 5. He's missing alley-oops. People are literally on the announce tables, not announce table, but they're on the, announcer's booth saying, Aiden, second missed alley of the night. How's that even happen? Like, how is that even possible? So it's just one of those things, man. And then you have, I still am trying to figure out, like, I touched on this on one of my old episodes over the summer. And I basically said that the Lakers need more help. And I don't know if it's a thing of they're waiting to see what LeBron is doing, because LeBron is obviously still there, or they're just choosing not to make any moves or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it's because LeBron is still there. But simply put, dude, you have a Maserati, a great car in your driveway, which is Luka Doncic. You have a serviceable car that's still running, which is LeBron James. There's no way that these two cars are parked in an alleyway. You get what I'm saying? Like in a bad one at that. Like, that's what the Lakers are doing right now. Like, outside of Luka, LeBron, and Reeves, there is literally no help on that team. Consistent help at that. Like, I'm being so real when I say that Gabe Vincent has been on the Lakers for probably, I think, the last 2-3 seasons. How has that worked? The Lakers missed out on getting Walker Kessler. The Lakers missed out on getting so many people. And they just decide not to make a move. Shoot. The Lakers could have gotten DeMar DeRozan said, you know what, Sacramento's cool. The front office is showing no sort of urgency when it comes to trying to maximize the final years of Bron. And it's literally just showing and proving that they can't get it done. At the beginning of the season, the Lakers were like a top 3 team in the West. The Lakers right now, if I'm checking these standings, they're fifth. They're fifth in the West. If the playoffs were to start today, the Lakers would be playing the Rockets in the first round. They're not beating Houston. And if they drop any lower, they would have to play Denver. They're not beating Denver. And the way I see it, man, in a stacked Western Conference, man, you need not all the help you can get, but you just, like, it's what they have right now is not going to equate to a great playoff run. I still say that the West is going to be really interesting in playoff time. Obviously the Thunder are still first, Spurs are second, Nuggets are third, Rockets fourth. We just talked about the Lakers. Timberwolves are sixth, Suns are seventh. The Warriors somehow, some way have the eighth seed, but the Trailblazers are vying for, like, they're in the play-in. Right now, the Trailblazers have a playoff spot, which is dope. Shout out to them. Having an iffy season, but shout out to them in Portland. Then you look at the East. In the East, that's the thing that's really been, like, surprising to me, right? Pistons obviously have the 1 seed. The Boston Celtics, with Jason Tatum still out, are the 2 seed right now, followed by Toronto, the Knicks, the Cavs, the Sixers, the Heat, and the Magic. And then the play-in is literally your usual suspects, Bulls, Hawks, with the new appearance by the Milwaukee Bucks, which we kind of figured was because Giannis was hurt and the Bucks just suck this year. But I'm looking at this Eastern Conference, right? Again, I just talked about the Celtics, but that's really a testament to just the depth of the Celtics and who they have. But Jaylen Brown, man, has really been playing out of his mind this season. Jaylen Brown has been playing out of his mind this season. Averaging 29.6 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting over 40% from the field. He's been playing out of his mind. Again, it helps them out because they're winning games they're supposed to be winning. And on top of that, I can't stress it enough. Don't know when Tatum's going to be back, but playing like this and Tatum gets back, it's going to be great. It's going to be great, man. So, man, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for sure. But moving forward, though, as I talk more about the Eastern Conference. I'm looking at the Eastern Conference. Another team that I'm really looking at is the New York Knicks. Obviously, in the Eastern Conference, where, you look at, the Celtics without Tatum and stuff like that. Many people thought at the beginning of the season that this was the Knicks' best chance at making a move. Thibodeau was gone at the, conclusion of last season. They're bringing Mike Brown. They go off to that hot start. They're winning games they're supposed to be winning. Brunson, Pat, Mikal Bridges are doing their thing. In the last 10 games, they're 4-6. They're losing teams they shouldn't be losing to. They're beating teams they shouldn't be winning against. And many people have been talking about conversations of a trade possibly happening with Karl-Anthony Towns getting traded, possibly getting Giannis. We'll see. We don't know what that's looking like now, especially now that Giannis is hurt. But something has to shake in New York. The way I see it is this. Brunson's only going to continue playing an All-Star season for however long that may be. You go out and go get OG 2 seasons ago. That does wonders for you. Josh Hart as well. You saw how close you guys were to winning a championship last season. Literally I was about to say a game away. They were not a game away last year. They were, further than that. Further than that for sure. You saw how close they were to winning a title last year. You come to this year with all these expectations, and if you can't get through a Eastern Conference on a down year, I don't know what to tell you. Because even though I'm looking at the top 3 teams, man, shout out to Toronto, because I don't think anybody had Toronto playing this well this season, except for my man's Chris. Shout out to him. While we're at it too, just quick plug, by the way, check out the new League Island video, League Island NBA on YouTube. Shout out to my man's Chris. He's back making content. You guys go check it out. But yeah, the Raptors literally playing their best brand of basketball in years, continuing to play at a high level. But back to the Knicks, though. You don't win it this year, I think your window is gone, respectfully, because this is a down year in the Eastern Conference. This is a down year. You look at the West and you look at the East. The East is not as competitive as the West is. Literally on the West, there's a clear number 1 team. The Eastern Conference, I'm looking at 1 through 8, and I'm like, honestly, any of these teams can win it. Maybe except for the Heat and the Magic. But like 1 through 6, I'll say 1 through 6. 1 through 6, any of these teams can win it. There's no clear-cut favorite. And the Knicks can't get it done this year. I don't see them getting it done when things get back to normal in the Eastern Conference next year. For sure. It's too many tangibles. It's too many tangibles, man. Many people are saying that Mike Brown should probably go. Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. We'll see, though. To the Sixers case, as I look down the standings. Obviously, 60, 24, and 21. I believe the Sixers they're like seesawing a little bit because at the beginning of the season they were like top four. Then they went on a skid. Literally just yesterday they got blown out by the Charlotte Hornets. Okay, I guess, man. I guess. The year has been kind of odd because, Maxi's been playing at a great level. Maxi's been playing at a all-star level. Obviously, that's why he's an all-star starter. They've lost games they should have won, having trouble closing out games. But a real positive to this year is that Embiid has been playing at the level that we're used to seeing him play at. Embiid is dunking more, which honestly should not be a headline, but it is. Embiid is dunking more. Embiid is getting 20, 30 points per game. Yeah, the Sixers are losing those games, but it's a great sign because ultimately, regular season is not really. I mean, regular season obviously matters, right? It does. But for the Sixers, man, especially when you look at these past playoff runs, the biggest point of emphasis is Embiid's health. This team is only going to go as far as Embiid's health takes this team. Edgecombe and Maxey can only do so much. But I feel like a healthy Embiid with this Sixers team, it's going to be scary, man. And the way it's looking right now, the playoffs were to start today. They'll play Toronto first round. That'll be a great series to watch out for, honestly. So, again, I don't know if the Sixers are going to be a team to, make it to the finals, whatever, everything like that. But again, the same way I'm saying that the Knicks is their best chance, I feel like this is one of the Sixers' best chances as well to make a deep playoff run. Shock a lot of people. That was a lot of sports. Goodness gracious. But moving forward, man, before we conclude this episode, I want to talk to you guys about something that, that I've just been picking up over the past couple of weeks. Granted, it's the class that I'm taking, but I feel that it's made me see things in a different way that I don't normally see things. And honestly, it's been very therapeutic. So I want to share with you guys. Photography, man. And I know what you're thinking, like, Dinari, you're just discovering photography. Yeah. Shameless plug here, but if you want to go check out some of my photos, man, check out the Instagram page at Nari Shot It. NARISHOTIT. Nari Shot It. But I will say that, it's obviously been 3 weeks since the semester started. If you would have told me at the beginning of the semester I would be taking a photography course, I would have laughed at you. Because of some things outside of my control, I had to take it. But one thing, I guess, heading into this class I didn't realize was that once you really figured out how to use a camera, the whole process and just the approach to taking photos is just so therapeutic, man. It's so therapeutic. I've always been somebody that has been, always worried about the next thing instead of sometimes living in the now and understanding what's going on in the now when it comes to certain things. I feel like taking, pictures has forced me to be more present in what's going on in ways that I wasn't before. Quite honestly, I feel like it's for the better. I mean, it's been a fun ride so far. And it's just different, man. I mean, obviously, in your life, you want to do things that obviously bring you happiness, but you want to also step outside of your comfort zone when it comes to certain things. You don't want to just be, doing things that you're comfortable with your whole life. Because if you're comfortable your whole life, it's going to be a boring life. I mean, outside of doing this podcast, if I'm being completely honest with you, and going through the motions of school and everything, there's not really much else I'm doing. But taking photos and stuff like that has made me pick up a new hobby that not only I could feel like it could be helpful, but also at the same time, too, it's just something fun to do to pass time. And I encourage everyone who's listening to go out and do something that forces you to just be more present and, try something else. I'm not saying it necessarily has to be photography. It could literally be anything. If you listen to rap and, rap music or R&B all the time, try jazz. If you like playing basketball and football all the time, try golf. If you've never done intramural sports before, do it. I mean, it's just so many things that we could try and just have fun with. And surprisingly enough, can be good at it, I've seen people over just looking through social media and stuff. I've seen people who, I've known them for one thing their whole life or just had something synonymous with them their whole life and done amazing things that even now I'm thinking about. I'm like, I would never expect you to do that, or I didn't even know. And they picked it up, or it's because they were bored or something like that. So literally just go out and just have fun doing something that is not something you normally do. That was a long way to say just try new things. I'm sorry, man. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. But, just back to the photography thing. I do want to give a shout out to my teacher, though. I mean, obviously, I don't think she's going to hear this episode, but I will say that the confidence that you've put in me to, make sure that I know that I'm on the right track with these, the photos and everything like that, has definitely been a leading just motivator for me to just continue coming to class. Because I'm just gonna be real. If it wasn't fun, I would have dropped it. But the fact that the class is cool, mistakes are encouraged, and we're learning and just having fun, just taking photos. It's been amazing. It's been a dream. So yeah. Appreciate you. And yeah, again, guys, just go out and go try something new. Matter of fact, if you're a Temple student, right? Obviously, we don't have any in-person classes today. I challenge you to go do that today. Enjoy something that you wouldn't normally enjoy. And let me know how that goes for you. And with that, I'm going to leave you to have the rest of the day to do it because, let's face it, you want to chill out today anyway. So let's just do it. But that's going to do it for this episode, man. It's been a long episode. Obviously, we talked about a lot of things. State of the country, sports, photography. We did it all this episode. If you made it to the end of this episode, I will say thank you. Appreciate it. If you fell asleep or dozed off, well, that's the same thing. If you only could make it to half, I appreciate the effort. It's totally fine. Maybe, later when you're working out or something, you want to listen to the, second half of the episode. It's totally fine. But I will say, again, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. We're definitely going to get you one next week for sure. We're definitely going to get you an episode before 22 for sure. And we got a J. Cole album coming out next week too. We got to get one. We got to get one. So, again, thank you guys for tuning into the episode. Peace and love always. Check out the League Island NBA video. Shout out to my boy Chris. And yeah, peace.